Her triumphs, I took a group of women that didn't believe in themselves, and I just believed in them. Her trials,
I never wanted to go to practice. I was losing a ton of weight.
her story,
I just put my faith in God and just trusted the system.
her why.
I want people to see what I did and say, oh, that's so awesome. I'm going to be better than that. That would be how I hope that this journey ends.
This is Her Why, where we tell the stories from BYU women's sports. Here is your host, Lauren McLean.
We're so glad you've joined us for Her Why, where we celebrate the women who make BYU sports great. Today's guests are BYU women's tennis doubles partners, Emilee Astle and Jacque Dunyon. Thanks so much for being here, you two.
Yeah, of course.
We're excited to have you. In April of this year, BYU women's tennis competed against number 5 Pepperdine. You both went against Janice Sen and Savannah Broaddus, ranked number 1 in doubles. What were you feeling going into that match?
Going in, I did not know that they were the number 1 team in the country. Like, I just had no idea. But it was exciting to play Pepperdine because they're really good, right? And we knew that going in. We knew that they were going to be a tough team. And so it's always exciting to play somebody that's good, and I knew that they were good. But like I said, I had no idea that they were the number 1 team in the country.
It's crazy. How often had you guys played together up to that point, Jacque?
I think we started playing like midway through the season.
Yeah, we didn't start the season out together.
Yeah, we didn't start the season together, but we figured it out and we ended up being super strong together.
So by that point, you were feeling pretty confident with each other.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys were trailing 2-1. Did you have a conversation like, okay, guys, like we can do this? You know, like what was going through your heads when you were trailing 2-1 against Pepperdine?
Honestly, that's like a very early point in the match, and anything can happen at that point. But like we started out playing pretty well. Like, yes, we were down 2-1, but it was still like we were in the match, you know? And I've played Pepperdine before, not in the match. So it was exciting to be like, okay, like we're here, we're playing with these girls, like we can do this.
Yeah.
So you guys got back in there. You were leading 4-2. I mean, again, you were already in the match, but how do you feel like you were able to start taking the lead, Jacque?
The energy was so high that day. The fans were loud. We were fired up. It was honestly so much fun. And then when we got that lead, we just rolled with it. Like, we just kept going. We were playing super aggressive, and they just couldn't hang.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, you eventually won 6-2.
Yeah.
What did it mean to you to beat the number 1 team, Emilee?
It was awesome. I remember like we won and I was super pumped because we just beat Pepperdine. We like gave each other a great big hug. Mm-hmm. And then our coach Gabby ran out to the court to us and she was like, we didn't tell you beforehand because we didn't want you like to get in your head, but you guys just beat the number 1 team in the country. And then we just lost it. We were so hyped.
Yeah, we were
so
stoked.
fun.
How often do you guys get to play with each other? Are you, because I know right now you're not doubles partners per se, but how often do you usually play with each other?
All the time, basically.
Okay.
Until Em just got hurt, but before that, we were playing together.
Okay, Jacque, now you're playing with Bobo, and Emilee, you've played with her before. Mm-hmm. Is it difficult to switch partners and get used to a new person so quickly? Is that a difficult thing?
Not really, because we all play like a similar way in doubles. So it wasn't too big of an adjustment. Of course, the chemistry with everybody's a little bit different, and it takes some time to figure out like their tendencies and everything. But we're all teammates. We all practice together so often that it wasn't anything too crazy.
You know each other's games really well.
Yeah.
That makes it nice. So playing singles and doubles is obviously different, but there's just different things that goes into playing those. So Jacque, do you prefer playing singles or doubles, and why?
Honestly, I prefer singles because I feel like I'm better at it. And I like to have control of the whole court. Like, doubles is definitely more fun, I think, because it's fun to have a partner, and it's the energy in doubles is just, there's nothing like it. It's so much fun. But singles is more, I like the individual aspect of it, that it's just me against my opponent, and it's super competitive.
Is it more like there's like no one else to blame. Like if something goes wrong, it's you. If something goes great, it's you. Is that one of the things you like about it?
Definitely, yeah.
Emilee, what about you? What do you prefer?
I like doubles. I love singles too. Doubles is fun because you're not out there by yourself. Like you have a teammate right next to you and you guys are fighting together. So I love that. I feel like there's a little bit less pressure, and in doubles you play a lot more aggressively. Like in doubles you want to get to the net as soon as you can, and that's like my game style. Like I love big serve and like get to the net fast. So
all right, Jacque, let's get to know you guys a little bit better. Jacque, what first got you into tennis as a little girl, I'm assuming, because you got to start young.
Yep. I started playing tennis when I was like 5.5, I think. And I just grew up by some tennis courts, and my dad put me in lessons, and I just instantly fell in love with the sport. I loved it so much, couldn't get enough of it. So my dad started taking me to Florida and California to see the best coaches in the world, and then he just started picking it up from there. And then my dad's been my coach like up until I came to college, and he's still super involved in my tennis. So.
Wow. And you didn't experience any burnout in there because you mentioned you love it. But from 5 years old till right now, that's basically been your life, right?
Yeah.
Is there a time, what's kept you motivated through that? Because I'm sure there's maybe got to be times where you're like, okay, I need a break from this.
Yeah, I've definitely had some hard injuries that have given me like a break from the game that I think helped me not get burned out, because it's not like I was playing all day every single day. Like I did have some shoulder surgeries and some knee surgeries to break it up, but honestly, I just love tennis, and I always had a really good relationship with my dad, who was my coach, and so he made me love tennis even more, because it wasn't like tennis wasn't like a chore. It was always something that I chose to do. So I'm just thankful for him for making it fun for me.
So you're the oldest. You have 3 younger sisters. Are they following in your footsteps? Do they play tennis?
Yeah, my sister Jane does.
Okay.
She is a stud. She's so good.
Do you feel like your sister Jane's going to be even better than you?
Hopefully. I think she will be. She's on track to being superstar, so.
And Emilee, your dad used to play basketball for BYU. Did you ever try getting into basketball instead of tennis?
Not really. I played junior jazz when I was like 5. He was my coach, but that's as far as my basketball career went.
And then you just weren't interested in it anymore. What made you gravitate towards tennis specifically?
I'm not sure, really. I had lots of friends that played tennis, and so it was fun. I always had a great time. I was in dance, and I did not like dance. My mom was like, should we quit dance lessons and start tennis lessons? And I was like, yes.
Yes, please. That's so funny. Were there any challenges when you started tennis, or did it come pretty naturally to you?
I started a little bit later than most people do. Like I started playing when I was 8, but I didn't start playing tournaments or competitively at all until I was 10 or 11. So when I started, I was not good. I kind of just got beat at every tournament that I went to. But then since then, I just kept getting better and better, and then, started winning more.
What helped you stay motivated during those times when you just kept getting beat? Because that's a hard thing.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people would quit at that point. Like, okay, I'm not great at this. We're going to move on to something else. But what helped you continue to keep moving forward?
There's definitely ups and downs in tennis. There's times when you want to quit and times when you absolutely love it. But Jacque talked about her dad a lot, and my dad was also my coach and a really big influence on me. And he just kept emphasizing that tennis is supposed to be fun. Like, you're supposed to be having a good time. So before every match, still to this day, he's like, go out and have fun. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm not going to have fun unless I win. But but he just always emphasized that I'm supposed to be having fun. And if we're not having fun, then we're not doing something right.
I love that. I think that's awesome advice.
Yeah.
You both competed in the state of Utah. Jacque, you're a grade younger than Emilee. Is that right? Mm-hmm. And did the two of you ever compete against each other then, since you were both?
Yes.
You did?
We played a lot.
A lot of times.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So was it pretty?
Jacque always beat me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Jacque's like, I don't want to say anything. That's awesome.
They were all close matches.
We didn't play. We played a lot up until we were like 14.
14, 15. And
But then we never played for the last couple years.
Because in high school, we did never play.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was just when you were younger.
We were little and she played me a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. You were both the number one recruit from the state of Utah for your years, Emilee in 2019, Jacque in 2021. Emilee, what was the recruiting process like for you at that point?
Yeah, so when I was being recruited, I was like a sophomore in high school and I started talking to different coaches, and the coach here at BYU, it wasn't Holly, it was Lauren before. And it basically came down to the University of Utah and BYU. And the coach at Utah was awesome. The team there was awesome. The Pac-12, better conference than the West Coast Conference was at that time. And so really everything at that point was kind of pushing me towards the University of Utah. But I just kept having this feeling like, I need to go to BYU. I need to go to BYU. And I was like, okay, I'll go to BYU. And so I committed with Lauren. But then she stepped down and Holly came in before. She coached for a full year before I got to BYU. And being at BYU with Holly and with Gabby now has been the best experience ever. And it's like so obvious to me that that was the right decision now, just because Holly is amazing. She has taught me so much. And BYU, the culture here, all the support we have here, it's really just been the best.
Before you knew anything really about Holly, was that a difficult thing when you heard that Lauren was stepping down as head coach?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried. I was like, well, do I still have a spot on the team? But I did know Holly pretty well before then because she had been a coach in Utah for a long time. She's from Utah, and I played with her son, Caden, a lot. So I knew her pretty well, and I was super stoked.
So it was a pretty easy transition.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you've learned from her? Because just hearing you talk, it's obvious that you look up to her and you love her as a coach. What do you feel like you've learned from her?
Really just so much. Like, she is a great coach and she expects a lot of us on the court. Like, we have to show up to practice giving 100% every day, you know, and just that mindset of being all in everything you do. She's really emphasizes that, and that has blessed my life so much. But she's also just like our mom off the court. Like, she just tells us, like, you can see how much she loves each of the girls, and she cries all the time talking about how much she loves us. And
I'm pretty sure she cried on the show with me talking about you guys.
She probably did. Like, she just has the biggest heart, and I feel like I could just go to her for anything.
I love that so much. She does seem like an incredible woman. And Jacque, what about you? So you originally committed to the University of Arizona before coming to BYU. So take me through that process of committing there and then eventually ending up at BYU.
So I was lucky enough to get a lot of offers in high school, and like you said, I was committed to ASU, and I was super stoked to go there. And then as time was going on, I mean, I have 3 little sisters. They're my best friends. And I was like starting to get really sad about leaving them and like moving away. And Holly, she would write me emails. She would call me every week. She would write letters. Like, she was doing everything she could to get me to come to BYU. And I've been a BYU fan my entire life. So I was like thinking about it. I remember it was conference weekend and I had COVID. So I was just laying in bed all weekend and I was listening to conference and I was like, I just feel like I need to go to BYU. And I am so glad that I did. I know that happened for a reason and I was supposed to be here. So I'm really happy that things worked out how they did. And I've loved my experience at BYU so far.
So incredible. And I know the coaches are very grateful that you're here as well. Emilee talked about how much she admired Holly. What has been like for you being able to work under and learn from the incredible women that you have as coaches?
I learned so much from my coaches. They're so awesome. They are such good examples of hard work, and they're also really great moms too, that I think that plays a big part for us too. Knowing that they're moms and that they're just so awesome. They do so much for us, and Holly always talks about how she like just wants us to be good people too, not just good tennis players, and you can tell that that's something that is a high priority for them because they're always like pushing us on the court, but also just as people too.
What really stands out to you? Because you mentioned that they kind of feel like moms and they are moms. What is it about that you feel like makes them better coaches for you guys?
Well, I feel like we're Holly's kids in a way. Like like Emilee said, she loves us like we're her own kids. Like she would do anything for us. She proofreads our papers and helps us with homework and stuff. So
wow.
She's awesome.
That is going above and beyond, I feel like, what normal coaches do. That's amazing. Guys, tennis is kind of an interesting sport because you play in the fall, you train through winter, then you start up again in the spring. So we'll start with Emilee. What's your favorite part of the season?
Winter season for sure. In the fall, we travel to like 4-ish tournaments, and those are all tournaments we play by ourselves. Okay. So we like compete as ourselves. Like you're wearing the BYU tank and everything, but you're not competing as a team. And then when real season hits in January, you're playing as a team. So you play other teams as a team. So that energy is way more fun, super exciting. And like I said, just more matches every week. So if you did bad last week, it's like, well, you have another match this week. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Jacque, what about for you? What's your favorite part of the season?
Definitely the spring. It's definitely a grind because like we're traveling a lot and it's hard to miss a lot of school, but it's so much fun. Like the dual matches, the energy is just, there's nothing like it. It's so much fun.
What part of your game do you feel like has improved the most since playing for BYU, Emilee?
That's a tough question. Probably just like I kind of mentioned this before in doubles, like just being aggressive and transitioning up into the net. I feel like every match when the coaches come to my court, they're like, how many times have you been up to the net? I'm like, not that many. And they're like, get up to the net. So probably just being aggressive and, transitioning to the net, volleying.
Okay. What about for you, Jacque? What do you feel like has improved the most since being at BYU?
That is a hard question. I don't know if I could think of one specific thing that has improved the most, but I was more of a singles player growing up, so I've learned so much about doubles and how to play and how to move and how to set up your partner at the net and everything, so I would probably say doubles as well. Outside
of your coaches at BYU, who's the one tennis player that you look up to the most? And it can be professionally or whatever. Jacque, what about for you?
My favorite has always been Maria Sharapova. I had a huge blow-up picture thing of her in my room growing up, and I would just look at it every night. And it, like, motivated me to push myself because she's always been my role model for tennis players. And, I mean, Roger Federer, he's the GOAT.
Oh, yeah. So. Absolutely. What about for you, Emilee?
Probably either Roger Federer or Rafa Nadal. Like, growing up, I always loved Federer because of he was just so classy, so humble, but, like, so good. And then lately, I've just looked up to Nadal so much because he's so fiery and so passionate, and he just plays with 150% effort every point. Like, he's awesome.
Do you guys try and kind of mimic, I mean, like growing up, would you try and mimic your play after these people you're watching?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She's doing
slow-mo videos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love that. My last question for you is, what are you most looking forward to this spring when matches pick up again, Emilee?
I'm excited just to compete with my team again. This is my 5th year because my first year was COVID. And so I chose to come back just because I love my team so much. I love the atmosphere. I love competing. So this last year, I'm just excited to play again, and I'm just going to try to relish the time that I have left. It makes me so sad to think that it's going to come to an end.
I love it. That's all you can do, right? What about for you?
I'm super stoked for the competition in the Big 12. They're a really strong tennis conference, and it'll be a really good opportunity for us to improve and to see how our games match up with the best players in the country. So
I was going to ask, so Pepperdine always has a really good program, right, in the WCC, but overall is the Big 12 much better than the WCC.
Yeah,
Way better.
a lot better.
So that's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
We're here with BYU women's tennis doubles partners Emilee Astle and Jacque Dunyon. Thank you so much for taking the time, girls. You're incredible, and good luck in the spring.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You can download and listen to all episodes of Her Why on the BYU Radio app or wherever you find podcasts. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.